Okay, we will call the meeting to order. And like I said, John can sit in for Tom. Any additions or changes in the order of the agenda?
Not tonight.
Okay, very good. Any communications or correspondence?
Not tonight.
Not tonight, okay. And we don't have an audience of citizens, do we? No
I don't
audience.
think we do. No.
Okay, then let's get on with our new business. Item 6.1, IWWC 2223-01, the application of Kevin Shortoff to extend an existing permit for IWWC 2021-01 for activity at 64 Laurel Lane to construct a driveway into a semicircle. Assessor's map 012B, lot 013 in the LAR zone. Isabel, you want to give us a little background on that?
Absolutely. So Mr. Shortoff is not here today, but he came into the office last week. His permit was issued in 2020 and was expiring this month. So and they haven't completed the work yet. So they'd like to extend the permit. Let me see, and I'm just pulling up the application as it was given to me. I have it in the meeting packet that was sent to everybody. I'm going to share my screen just to make it a little bit easier. So this is the existing drive here, and they're rerouting it to redirect it into a semicircle. This area was identified as wetlands, but from my reading of the minutes of the meeting where the application was approved and from the site walk, it was questionable whether or not that area was still wetlands. I think that there had been some changes to the area, and they have a fairly detailed explanation down here. I'm just looking for, this is an existing settling area, which is still there today. And I'm looking for the map that they submitted at the time that shows the new path of their driveway. This will be the new entrance. And this is the area that I think was designated as wetlands that they'd like to extend the driveway through. Here we are. So they're adding a French drain and directing water behind the house rather than down towards the driveway where they're extending it, and trying to mitigate runoff from the roof of the house as well as the driveway. And this is to show it a little bit better. They have a proposed settling pond down here, new gutters, and this is the path of the new driveway, this green line here. So you can see where it kind of cuts through the identified wetland area. And that is the gist of it at this point. They just like to keep the application as it was approved 2 years ago and just get an extension so that the work can be completed. At the time, the plan was for the work to be completed in a 3-day time period, and I think that that's still what their intent is.
And I understand that John Valenti did not really know whether that area was a wetlands or not. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what's written in the minutes of the regular meeting, and I think in the site walk as well. I'm just looking for it. And I know when I was speaking to Mr. Shortoff when he came into the office, he actually said that John, when he was leaving after everything was approved, said, I don't really think it's a wetlands here. So I think it's one of those cases kind of similar to Baker Hill Road that we saw last fall that was wetlands at one point, but just degraded to the point where it wasn't really functioning in that way anymore. And so the mitigations that they proposed in terms of redirecting runoff from the roof of the house and managing roof runoff from the driveway as well outweighed the cost of the construction.
Anybody have any questions on?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
How far along have they progressed on the work?
They haven't started
needs
the
to-
work yet.
They have not started.
Right.
Right, okay. And as I recall, we were a little concerned with the holding pool is, I guess it's northwest of the house.
Mhm.
And that water was going to be diverted onto somebody else's property, but I gather there was some kind of a semi-formal brook that went down to Route 87 and through people's backyards, and everybody pretty much accepted that is a given. So we let that go by the board. And then I really have forgotten, but I think we had all of the sizing of the pipe should have been engineered hydraulically based on the runoff, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that brown arrow there shows where the water from that pool just slid off into somebody else's property. But John assured us, and he had checked it out, that it really just follows some kind of a stream bed. So those are the only concerns, or those the concerns that I had. And again, I think we did size up all the pipes based on the runoff.
I think that the only pipes that I see, there's an existing 6-inch under the driveway. And then the new pipe that they were adding was the French drain, which is mentioned in this yellow line here, which is 4 inches. And then also a new 4-inch pipe along this driveway as well.
Right.
So a new 6-inch pipe. So there's one 6-inch currently that they were extending. There's a settling pond between the two. Right. And then the new 6-inch pipe directs water under the driveway. And I think into a swale or a detention basin that's kind of right in this area. And back into the wetlands. And then up here, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything specifically mentioned. And I'm not sure what's back there. I haven't gotten back out to this section of the site. I drove past it to look at the front area because when I spoke to Mr. Shortoff, he was interested at some point in potentially modifying, I think, this area here. He says the depression is really significant. But that I think would have to be a separate application and site walk and discussion because it wasn't mentioned at all on these plans.
Do you think a site walk is in order? Or do you have any problems with it at all? Isabel?
I think, let me see. I think as it was approved and as long as no changes are being made, the plan should still hold up very well. I think there was a lot of back and forth between the owners and the commission and John on this. And so I think that it's reasonable to extend it for another 2 years. I think if the owner were to come back and want to further modify in any way the application, that then it would require another site walk.
Right. Okay.
But today, if the commission, if anyone has further questions, we could schedule a site walk to go out and look at it. Or if not, because it's just an extension of a permit and not a new application, it could be voted on today.
Yeah, okay. How does everybody feel? They feel a site walk is necessary because we did do it a long time ago.
No.
Okay, then do we have a summary ruling on it, Isabel?
Yes.
Okay, you want to read it?
Sure.
Thank you.
And these are primarily just standard conditions of approval. I kept all of the same conditions that were in the initial approval. This is for application IWWC 2223-01 for the extension of a permit to reconstruct driveway into a semicircle at 64 Laurel Lane. The duration of the permit is for 2 years unless further extended by this agency, and shall expire upon completion of the activity approved herein. I'm going to skip over the standard conditions of approval that we have here. The property owner, Kevin Shortoff, is assigned the responsibility for implementing this erosion and sediment control plan. The responsibility includes the installation and maintenance of control measures, informing all parties engaged on the construction site of any requirements and objectives of the plan, notifying the Inland Wetland Commission office of any transfer of this responsibility, and conveying a copy of the erosion and sediment control plan if the title to the land is transferred. The Wetlands Commission acknowledges and acknowledged at the time the permit was given initially that the owner has offset and mitigated the disturbance to wetlands by providing adequate erosion and control measures, infiltrating and treating surface water and roof runoff to the rear of the home in the detention basin, and reducing the nutrient loading by way of the storm treatment system to the rear of the house, and installation of 60 cubic yards of stone to infiltrate surface water. Work should take approximately 3 days to complete.
One question, is there anything saying that he will contact you when he is ready to start?
That should be,
I think that's up there, but I didn't remember seeing it.
let me just look, should be in the
Oh, yeah.
standard language here.
48 hours before.
Yes,
Okay.
48 hours before the
Yeah,
commencement.
okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve it?
I have one quick question. Maybe you answer this, Isabel. When does he plan to start this time?
I wasn't given a timeline at this point. I think that they just haven't gotten around to it. Originally, it was going to be October of 2020. And I think that their timeline was thrown off a little bit. So that's something that I will be contacting him about.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, we've got a motion. Yeah, do we have a motion to?
Yeah, I move that we accept that application or the
Okay,
extension. We approve the extension.
okay,
I second that.
okay. All in favor, raise your hand. So moved. Very good. Thank you. Next item, under old business, the approval of the meeting minutes, the regular meeting minutes of July 7th, 2022.
I have one comment on those
Yes,
meetings.
okay,
On the last page, administrative reports, 11.1. This hit me that night, and I guess it hit some other people, but it says to build a slab on 30-foot by 40-foot garage. I think that should be to build for a 30 to 40-foot garage. And they were gonna build a slab to put a garage on? Is that what they were up to?
Yeah, that was what the application was for.
Yeah. So it says build slab on 30-foot by 40-foot garage. But I think it should be build slab for a 30-foot by
yeah,
40-foot
I think
garage.
you're right. Mhm.
No.
Yep. So Josh can make that change, I'm sure. Okay, anything else? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
I'll
Tip.
second.
All in favor, raise your hand. So moved. We don't have an audience of citizens. Any open discussion? I noticed that the planning and zoning did not approve the wedding.
Oh, on Cards Mill?
Yeah, on Cards Mill, they did not approve it. There were several problems they had with it, I guess. So I don't know. Did they started work on that, I think, didn't they?
I don't know if they
I-
did.
I
Is-
don't believe they did. I haven't been
Yeah, I
informed
don't
of
think
any
so.
work.
Oh, okay. You didn't see them putting anything in or working on it?
I
huh?
think they've had people down there to survey the property and flag it, but beyond that, they haven't started any construction because they had to wait for PCC approval.
Okay. Mhm.
Do you know what the issues were? Why they didn't want to approve it?
Yeah,
Well,
and the,
one of them had something to do with flooding based on maps that were not up to date or something.
yeah, one or two of the commission members were very concerned about that discrepancy between the 1982 Tolland FEMA map and the more recent New London FEMA map. But I think the issues that came up most often when we were making the decision, and the recording of the meeting is online and the minutes should be online too,
Mhm.
is how narrow the road is and traffic issues arising from that. In addition to the fact that the sound engineer who testified never stated to the satisfaction of a lot of the members that there would be no music available, audible at the property line. He said in one of the letters something like that there should be no music available at the property line, but they didn't feel that he would guarantee that.
Right. Yeah. And they said it didn't fit in with the neighborhood in the future. It wasn't something that they wanted to see in a neighborhood like that.
Okay, it would have been a beautiful spot, for,
Oh, yeah.
wedding events. But, okay, just kind of curious.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things, I think that there was a write-up in the Chronicle, okay?
Right.
Yes, Fridays or Saturdays Chronicle. And I think they did say that the roads were very narrow getting to it. So if you have a lot of cars coming down those narrow roads, there could be traffic problems. So
Right,
like that. Yeah.
I
gotcha.
think our applicant from earlier just joined us, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Hi, Kevin. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I'm late. I was eating dinner.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I have good news
You don't
for
get
you. The commission already voted on your permit extension.
Okay,
and that
great.
was approved.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
One question they had, do you have any idea when you're going to start?
I'd say if not this fall, in the spring.
Okay, just curious. And be sure you check with Isabel, okay, when you're ready to start.
Yeah, okay, sure, no problem.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, any other open discussion that the commission wants to talk about?
Isabel, have we heard, or have you heard more about the water withdrawal, the landscaper that was doing the hydro seeding?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. I was able to get in contact with someone at DEP and get some advice on how to proceed, which was essentially in line with our discussion with Matt Brand. We can't give a permit for him to pump water out of Mono Pond or any state property because it's very, very unlikely that he would be able to get permission to do that, which is, of course, something that would be necessary before we could issue a permit on that. And we just need to get an application for him from him at this point. I haven't received any more information from Matt. I haven't received any more complaints either about his business. So I'm not sure if he's currently operating still at this time of year. I believe this is his busy season. So I've been trying to get in contact with him and get a permit in. I'm hoping by the next meeting, we'll have something to discuss on that.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, any administrative reports, Isabel?
No,
I went by Steve's new barn and it's pretty well and just about finished, I guess, huh?
yeah, it went up really quickly. And I've been out there a number of times after, we've had a couple of heavy rain events and there's been really no erosion, which is impressive. I think at this point, the site's been pretty well managed, and that area in particular is well protected with the slope of the driveway and the rain garden that's kind of behind the barn area. So their erosion hasn't been a problem.
Mhm. Yep, it's a beautiful barn, I'll tell you that. Real nice. Okay, so do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, second,
I'll second it.
all in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Approved. Have a
Aye.
good weekend, everybody.
Thank you,
You too.
John.
Have a
All
good one.
right, take it
Yeah.
easy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a
Take
good one.
care.
Thank you, Isabel.
Right.
Pray for rain.
We will.
Good night.